This is not just a loss for Disney workers. It is a loss for the millions of American workers who have been and are now suffering from this terrible business model.
It has been over 2 years and the lawsuit filed against Disney dropped. Which lawmakers are to blame for foreign workers being brought in to replace Americans? Good evening, everyone. I'm Alan Cohen, and welcome to ABC 7 at 7. We'll have more on the lawsuit being dropped against Disney in a moment, but first, our top 7 stories at 7. It's a challenge, to say the least. The Sarasota School District has 3 months to get a brand spanking new police department up and running in time for the new school year. Deputies will likely come straight out of an academy and experienced officers close to retirement. It's hoped a new chief and 3 sergeants will be hired by early July, but the deputy positions have yet to be advertised.
Start to finish, from finding an acceptable applicant to him or her being in a patrol car alone, patrolling and doing police duties, might be 9 months or more.
We're on the clock. August 13th will be here before we know it, and we want a functional department that serves our schools on that date.
The district plans to keep the existing school resource officers in middle and high schools for 1 more year. They will eventually need to hire 50 new employees. One of the reasons the school district is forming its own police department is because the sheriff doesn't want to split the cost of providing school officers at every school, but there is apparently money for a new helicopter. Sarasota County Commissioners agreeing to give the Sheriff's Office $3.4 million to purchase a used helicopter. Sheriff Tom Knight told Commissioners the department is using its current helicopter more than ever. The Sheriff's Office hopes to have the second helicopter by the end of the summer. A Sarasota school on lockdown today. Police stopped a stolen car around Euclid and Ringling. 2 teens escaped, and police found a gun inside the stolen car. Tuttle Elementary School was placed on lockdown. No information was given about who the car belonged to or how the teens got a hold of a gun. Traffic may be a little heavier this weekend in Sarasota because we're building new roundabouts. Crews will be working on new roundabouts at US 41 and 10th and 14th Streets in Sarasota. Nighttime work will begin on May 13th through May 17th at 10th Street. There will also be a single-lane closure between 9th Street and 15th Street. An update now out of Central Florida, where a body has been found in a retention pond after reports of someone possibly being attacked by an alligator. Crews used sonar devices to find the body after calls came in yesterday saying someone disappeared near the water. The Orange County Sheriff's Office says the body of a woman in her late teens or early 20s.
There appears to be no damage to the body, no alligator bites, no damage to face or anything like that, in perfect condition, just deceased. So there are no alligator bites or anything like that.
The FWC was on the scene, but after it was determined an alligator was not involved, they left, and it's up to the Sheriff's Department to investigate the death. Joined about around 200 supporters, a retired Orange County firefighter finished his walk from Key West to the state capitol today. It's to raise awareness about firefighters who die from cancer. Tom Bull Hill walked more than 700 miles across Florida over the past month and a half. Hill's inspiration comes from 2 of his colleagues who died from work-related cancer.
Firemen are tired of being treated like second-class citizens, not by the citizens, but by those who govern them.
According to the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, firefighters have an increased risk of developing cancer compared to the general population. And take a look at this. Love bugs everywhere. An ABC 7 viewer, Nicole Berry, sent us this video. She took it around 12:30 today. And as you can see, love bugs pretty much cover the outside of her home on Midnight Pass Road in the Turtle Beach area. Love bugs are swarming right now. They are attracted to light-colored surfaces and highways where they make a mess of our cars. They can damage your vehicle's paint if you don't wash them off within a week. And what we heard is that rain could help suppress these love bugs. So we're heading over to ABC 7's Chief Meteorologist Bob Harrigan to tell us when we could get some.
Yeah, well, it's coming, and it is going to be coming for a while, too. So once we get it here on Sunday, it won't go away anytime soon, so that'll be good news. The bugs have a tendency to hunker down when the rain is coming around because it can actually hurt their wings, the rain. We are looking at the clouds and showers down to our south mainly. This is a trough of low pressure, a line, if you will, of low pressure, which will eventually move northward and develop an upper level low, which will move right across the state into the East Gulf of Mexico on Sunday, Monday, and then open up to another line of low pressure right over the top of us. But for the time being, this area of high pressure will continue to slip off to the east, and that will bring us more of an east to southeasterly wind flow, which will bring this rain our way. But this doesn't happen, and really doesn't set up until late Saturday. So our atmosphere is still relatively dry, and we're not looking at any rainfall tonight or tomorrow for that matter, despite the clouds that have been around. Temperatures will stay above average for overnight lows and upper 60s. Our typical low right around 65 degrees. And tomorrow's highs will be a little bit warmer, right around 90. That's a result of some of these clouds that we're seeing now streaming overhead, thinning out a bit. So once we see that happening, more sunshine expected for us on Friday, but that rain really staying well to our south. But it will get here soon enough on, unfortunately, Mother's Day, when a lot of moms like to just go out and enjoy, you know, whatever they go to the beach, maybe, who knows, and play some tennis. I know my mom loves tennis, and unfortunately, she's not going to be able to play, and not many people are on Sunday because of the heavy rainfall.
Well, the rain's great, but the lawn already died.
Yeah.
Thanks, Bob.
Yeah, sorry about that.
It's still to come. After years of battling, the lawsuit against Disney filed by IT workers who were laid off and replaced by foreigners has been dropped. So where do they go from here?
Here's something we bet you didn't know. Nearly half of all cancers can be prevented. That's right, half. Nearly 50%, mostly by making small everyday changes in your diet and controlling your weight, walking more, eating less, and eating foods that help you and your family to seriously reduce the risk of cancer. And of course, by not smoking. Visit the Cancer Prevention Together We Can website and get a free 30-day planner filled with tips, recipes, stats, and more about protecting your family. Go to prevent50.org.
Experience the Classical Music Celebration May 11th and 12th at the historic Sarasota Opera House. World-class musicians include guitar duo Charisma, currently touring with Andrea Bocelli. Tickets available online or by phone.
My name is Haley. I have Fragile X syndrome. I work with Chartwells at Einstein's at FAU. I like being up front and interacting with students. The students are very nice and very hungry. Having a job is a big ticket for independence.
Hi, this is Dan Marino. When your business recruits people with disabilities, everybody wins. To find out how, go to disabilitieswork.employflorida.com.
I'm Anne. I'm a scientist.
Recycling takes a team.
Why don't you let me and me help you out?
Everyone plays a part. Don't trash.
I love taking stuff apart and building new things out of it.
What could be treasure?
Pal's my most advanced android. This is awesome. You haven't seen anything yet.
Give your cardboard box another life. Recycle.
We're losing exotic animals on a daily basis, and the ones that we have in captivity are really the ambassadors for their wild counterparts. I'm Clayton Rozier from the Big Cat Habitat and Gulf Coast Sanctuary, housing over 150 exotic animals that needed a great home. And if you love animals, please help them. Do it locally. Support your local no-kill shelters, your local wild animal sanctuaries. Make a difference where you can.
Enjoy some of the best Suncoast restaurants on me. Just go to mysuncoast.com/dining, sign up for the newsletter if you haven't already, and you can win a $50 gift card to a restaurant in our area. We'll pick a winner each week, so go on our website and sign up now.
It was a huge nationwide story when we broke it 2 years ago on this very broadcast. Disney workers laid off, and the company forcing them to train their foreign replacements if they wanted their severance. Donald Trump, campaigning for president, was outraged. He took up the cause, promising to do something about it. But that was then, and this is now. ABC 7's Jess Dowdrick joins us with more from Orlando.
250 American workers lost their IT jobs here at Disney. They say they were told they had to train their replacements that came from overseas in India, or they would lose their severance package. That was 4 years ago, and still Congress and the president are allowing this to happen despite several promises to do something and change American law. So tonight, Disney workers have no other choice but to give up.
The rug was ripped out from under me and several of my peers.
Mary Poorman started working at Disney when she was just a senior in high school. 39 years later, she had worked her way up to a full-time gig in the IT department.
It was a great job. I was very proud to be bringing home that salaried paycheck to my family.
In October of 2014, Disney broke the news. Poorman and her co-workers had just 90 days to find another job.
Nobody anticipated the amount of people that were let go and treated so harshly and poorly.
30 of those 250 IT workers that lost their jobs came to Sarasota attorney and CEO of Protect U.S. Workers, Sarah Blackwell, for help, including Poorman.
They were replaced by virtually only young male Indian nationals. Those Indian nationals were paid substantially less than the American workers that were fired, and they were not at all better skilled in any way, form, or fashion.
It is against federal and state law to discriminate against an employee because of a nationality, race, age, or gender. It is also illegal to replace immigrant workers with visa workers.
Except it is legal if you follow a particular business model created by the billionaires and the politicians who heavily benefit from this business model.
Blackwell says it's used by thousands of businesses to get around these federal and immigration laws. Here's how Blackwell says Disney did it. When these 250 workers lost their jobs, their replacements weren't hired by Disney, but instead contracted through another company.
These loopholes in the law are intentionally built in the law by the politicians who were bought and paid for by the billionaires.
In the last 4 years, Blackwell filed 3 separate lawsuits against Disney. She lost 2 of them, and the third, a discrimination case, she is now dropping.
Because the courts have made it clear that the amendments and our efforts are fruitless, and that the laws enacted by our Congress allow what happened at Walt Disney World, we have lost.
Blackwell is now calling out U.S. Senator Bill Nelson, who is up for re-election. Nelson promised to call on Congress to reduce the number of work visas in the future, according to Blackwell. But she says he was all talk and no action.
Fast forward to February 12, 2018. That same Bill Nelson is currently running for re-election. Guess what? The Walt Disney World CEO, Bob Iger, hosted a fundraiser raising money for Bill Nelson's campaign.
ABC 7 reached out to Senator Nelson's team for comment and did not get a response. Blackwell also called out President Donald Trump at Wednesday's announcement.
My Disney clients, the victims of this business model, and I stood up at the Trump rallies in Alabama and Florida, and we told the crowds about this business model. Crowds of 35,000 people were listening.
Blackwell says they endorsed Trump because he promised to make change and never did. So now the fight ends for these Disney workers.
I hope that you all understand that we're not asking for money. We are asking for the hemorrhaging of American jobs to stop.
The lawsuits may be thrown out, but attorney Sarah Blackwell and these former Disney employees say they are not giving up. They say they will not let Senator Nelson, President Trump, or any other politician off the hook, in hopes that any former Disney employees won't have to go through what they did. Reporting in Orlando, Jess Dowdrick, ABC 7, your Suncoast News.
In the moment, one of Disney's former IT workers and the lawyer who fought the good fight at the trapezoid.
For more than 100 years, American Humane Association has been teaching kids to be kind to animals. Those in our homes, on the farms, on the silver screen, and wildlife conservation, caring for the world's vanishing creatures. But we can't do it alone. Visit kindness100.org to find ways to teach kids how they can make a more caring, compassionate, and humane world for all of us.
Every week on Animal Outtakes, it's a new animal adventure. They aren't your ordinary dog. These dogs, you could say, are superheroes. They are trained as guide dogs, helping individuals that are visually impaired.
We trained in revolving doors, we trained in escalators and elevators, all kind of stuff, and he's just a rock star.
We're visiting the Southeastern Guide Dog Campus to see how these tiny puppies get trained to become life-changing dogs.
Once you get atrial fibrillation, you need to have a very close relationship with your primary doctor. Prevention is the whole ball game here, because once you have a stroke, you can't undo it. A year without stroke is a year that you can enjoy doing the things that you've worked all your life to finally get to do. You took care of yourself. You did what is necessary for you to be around one more year. And then next year, we'll celebrate one more year without a stroke.
Here we go. We're gonna go out there in the rain. Gonna get wet. All right, here we go. Okay, quick. Oh yeah, yes. So much fun. Mwah. We're getting so wet.
Everything all right? Actually, you know how Tom had knee surgery? Sure. We found out Brad's been taking his painkillers. And it turns out he's been doing it for a while.
Most people don't know what to say about drugs, but we do. Visit us at drugfree.org.
Welcome back. America First. Yeah, right. You remember the ABC 7 at 7 exclusive, Disney laying off its IT workers and telling them if they want their severance, they have to train their foreign replacements? Donald Trump, running for president, was outraged. Senator Bill Nelson promised legislation cracking down on H-1B visas, which allows big companies to ship in foreign workers. 2 years later, nothing. And the workers and their Sarasota attorney are being forced to give up the fight. And joining us for more are attorney Sarah Blackwell and former Disney IT worker Leo Pereiro. FYI, we called the White House today and we emailed them for comment on this story, but we never heard back. And Sarah, let me first by asking you, how disappointed are you in President Trump, in Bill Nelson? I mean, you went to these rallies, as you said earlier, and you told people to vote for Donald Trump based upon his willingness to join this cause.
Well, I'm extremely disappointed to the point of, crying to sleep, kind of disappointed. But, the message of this lawsuit was to let America know everybody was so outraged when they saw what Disney did. But all these lawsuits show this is legal. You can't win a lawsuit against them because this is a legal way of doing business. And if you're outraged, then you need to do something about it. And that's what President Trump spoke to, the millions and millions of Americans who are actually suffering and have suffered from this, and even foreigners who have suffered from this business model. He spoke to them and he said, I'm not going to change, I'm not going to let this occur. He said, what happened to Disney will never happen again. Leo Pereiro, who's with us, and Dina Moore and I, we spoke at the rallies. He said, he encouraged us and said that this is something that he's going to do away with, and the crowds went wild, and we really endorsed him throughout the whole time, thinking he was going to make these changes.
So what happened?
Well, he has done a couple of things. I do give him credit for a couple of things, but he hasn't done, he said the lottery system of the H-1B is bad, which it is. Let's do a merit-based system, but he's never done that. He has the authority, but he hasn't done it. He said we're not going to allow American workers to be replaced. He hasn't done that. He said in Buy American, Hire American, we're going to start enforcing the laws and stopping abuse and fraud, which is great. But then he appointed to Department of Homeland Security an Indian lobbyist who is pro-growing all these H-1Bs. So he's not done anything that he said he was going to do. And the worst part is, after he was elected, he met with the billionaire tech workers and all of the businesses that benefit from it. He met with India Prime Minister Modi, who benefits from it. He met with Indian lobbyists in Mar-a-Lago who benefit from it, and he has denied any request to speak to any of the American workers that were on 60 Minutes that have been begging for him to listen to the reality and truth of what's going on.
Leo, we've been on the trail with you for 2 years since the story first came up. What have you done in the interim? How disappointed have you been that since the presidential campaign, when this got a lot of publicity, not much of anything has been done?
Well, extremely disappointed, because this is one of the premier companies in our country, and if they set the precedent rather, that this business model works, why would more people also follow it? So extremely disappointing to see the results from one of the most iconic companies in our country to do this and just, in a sense, give the ability to more people out there, more companies out there to do the same thing.
If there's one thing that you could say to President Trump, Bill Nelson, and Marco Rubio, who really didn't do much of anything, what would that be?
There are huge, huge loopholes in this visa program that really need to get fixed. We have so many terrible stories from families being destroyed and lives changing for the worse. It really needs attention very quickly, and it can't continue to just be another debate that goes no place.
All right, we want to take a quick break right now, but before we do, we want to share with you what some of you had to say about the news which broke last night on this show. And in terms of what we're in the middle of talking about, the lawsuit against Disney being dropped. IT workers that worked at Disney were told that they were going to be replaced by foreign workers, and they were going to have to train them. We went to Facebook for your thoughts on the workers and their lawsuit, and that they have been forced to drop their case. Tony says, get rid of the HB1 visa program and come up with something that doesn't punish Americans. And Sam says, all this time and wasted effort, and now they realize it was legal and they have no case. I hope the attorney behind this didn't get paid anything for jerking these people around for 3 years. Okay, Sam, I hope you're watching. You're the guy who often leads us the comments about making America great again. We read them, yeah. But when push comes to shove, you would rather take a shot at a lawyer actually doing something to defend American workers. America first. That's a catchy slogan, don't you think? If you'd like to join the conversation on tonight's topic, just visit our Facebook page at facebook.com/mysuncoast.com.abc7. We are just getting warmed up, and we'll have Sarah and Leo respond to that comment in a moment. Stay with us.
That is a pretty good breakfast. You're not even eating.
Not hungry.
No? Why not? What's up?
Kath and I knew that Jenny had been partying a bit. Found out she tried heroin.
Most people don't know what to say about drugs, but we do. Visit us at drugfree.org.
Every child follows a path in life. For many, that path will lead them to a door that gives them a place to grow, to learn, to belong, a place to forge their future. Because while many doors open, these doors transform. They did for us. Support your local Boys and Girls Clubs. Great futures start here.
We answered the call of duty and left our homes to serve in far-off lands. Now, we answer another call, this time at home, in our own communities, to respond in times of chaos, to use our strength, our skills, and our experiences to bring hope amid devastation and destruction. Together, as a team of brothers and sisters, we're continuing our mission to make this country a little stronger and a little better each day. We are Team Rubicon.
Now, your ABC 7 First Alert weather forecast with Chief Meteorologist Bob Harrigan.
The love bugs, they're back. That's right. Everyone's talking about it on social media. They're swarming all over the place. And they fly around for about 4 weeks this time of year, and then they quiet down. Hopefully that happens sooner than later. Casey Key webcam starting to show a little glimmer of hope here for a sunset tonight. We had a beautiful sunset last night, and we had a halo today. This halo occurs as a result of the ice crystals actually bending the light and then reflecting it back to the viewer. Tracy getting this one. Nice shot, Tracy. Appreciate that. And this was last night's sunset. Just spectacular with the Black-Eyed Susans there at the Mayaca State Park. Damon Powers getting this. Just a simply gorgeous shot. And this is what we live down here for, all that nice looking weather. Clouds and showers down to our south associated with a trough of low pressure. Now this line of low pressure is going to move back northward as a trough, and southeast winds will bring that back our way. A good chance for rainfall. We need it desperately. We're going to get it, and it's going to be turned on and stay on for quite a while beginning Sunday, it looks like. The dry air in place from Texas all the way over to the lower Mississippi Valley and over North Florida will stick around for a couple more days before something moves our way. Something in terms of a low pressure area. Looks like an upper level low will spin just off the west coast of Florida on Tuesday and then open up as a line of low pressure right over us, keeping unstable weather for us right through the work week with a good chance for showers and storms. But until then, enjoy Friday. Looks good, dry, sunshine, a little bit more than we saw today. And temperatures currently into the low 80s for the most part up and down the coast. 91, though, still in Tallahassee. That northeast wind isn't the best news for love bugs. We had it all week long, and it brings a lot of the love bugs that are in central Florida right our way. After they hatch, they just fly on in. And they don't go out in the Gulf because obviously there's no vegetation out there for them. They're in the Gulf a little bit, but not way out. Again, northeast winds anywhere from 10 to 15 miles an hour from Northport to Venice to Manasota Beach. That's that sunset I was talking about last night. That's from Fred Seeger right there. 88 degrees the high, above average, not 90 like we saw yesterday. We saw 91 actually yesterday. Here's the Futurecast taking you through time on Sunday. Rain showers possibly more so in the midday and late in the afternoon and evening. We'll get a better chance for showers. It'll be scattered, but we'll see a lot of clouds around too, so it won't be the best of beach days for Mom. And then on into Tuesday and Wednesday, a good chance for scattered late day storms, it looks like, right in through much of the week. The storm track has really shifted to the north now, moving through the northern plain states and the upper Mississippi Valley and throughout the northeast. So here's what it looks like for boaters tomorrow. It looks good. East winds turn to the northwest at 10 knots. There'll be a light chop on the bays and inland waters. 7-day forecast looks good on Friday. Saturday, we'll see a little increase in clouds, slight chance for a late day shower. But notice that 70, 70, and then 60 on Tuesday. Wednesday, still pretty high at 50-50 all the way through Thursday of next week. Alan will be right back after this. Stick around.
My credit score was not that great.
I didn't understand what went into my credit score. It was overwhelming.
Do you want to attain better credit health but don't know where to start? Credit Sesame can help by providing you a free credit score.
I love the app. It's so easy to use. It's like having your own financial coach. Credit Sesame broke my credit score down into things that I understood, and it made me think, I can do this.
And the awesome thing about Credit Sesame, it's free.
It's 100% free. You don't need to go it alone. Get started today at creditsesame.com.
Ever since I can remember, I've been intrigued by industrial design and the optimization.
Wait, that's passion? Ever since I can remember, my passion has been industrial design. We need 3D printers for Miss Adams' engineering program so that we are ready to solve 21st century challenges.
Impressive. Think It Up is a new initiative to support student-powered, teacher-led learning projects. Students and teachers, how can you spark great learning experiences in your classroom today? Think It Up.
All right, crew, let's get started. Sure.
Don't ignore the law. You must call 811 at least 2 to 3 days before any digging project so you can avoid hitting our essential buried utilities. For digging projects big or small, make the call to 811.
Tomorrow at 5 on ABC7's Good Morning Suncoast.
Hi, I'm Ray Collins.
And I'm Stephanie Webb. With the Dig Vitale Gala set for tomorrow night, we're going to meet another cancer survivor helped by the V Foundation.
Erin had a challenging first few years, but now she's enjoying her life. We'll talk to her tomorrow on Good Morning Suncoast. John?
Significant changes coming up over the weekend. We have high pressure giving way to a trough of low pressure. We'll talk about that.
Tomorrow at 5 on ABC7's Good Morning Suncoast. We're here for you.
Selfless service is the principle that guides Army National Guard soldiers to be ready whenever disaster strikes. They have a stake in the well-being of the neighborhoods where they live and work. They train part-time to be ready to serve at all times. Selfless service. It's what inspires the men and women of the Army National Guard to be part of something greater than themselves. Visit NationalGuard.com to learn more.
Welcome back. We're talking about protecting American jobs and whether President Trump and others turn their backs on Florida workers they promised to help. And joining us for more are attorney Sarah Blackwell and former Disney IT worker Leah Perrero. And Sarah, let me give you a chance to respond to Sam.
Sam?
Who, you know, like a lot of people, went to those rallies, heard you speak, heard the IT workers speak, and cheered when candidate Donald Trump said that he was going to do something about this. He says, you know, you should have known it was a waste of time and it was perfectly legal. The joke's on you.
Yes, well, I mean, my clients knew going into it the risks and what we were trying to do. They never paid a penny, obviously. And we, as an American who's trying to fight for America and American workers, first and foremost, and then protecting foreigners from American business owners that are exploiting them, I get calls every day, emails every day for the last 2 years from foreigners and Americans alike, and I never get paid for any of those calls. They think of me as a leader of this movement, and I'm their only hope. And so I can't just do rallies and just do protests or just do television. I had to try everything in the legal arena as well to try to find something we can do. And I was the only one, and I'm still the only one who's willing to do that, and I don't get paid anything for any of it. So to say that, you know, he's disappointed in me, I'm disappointed in me too. I wish there was some way I could fix this.
And believe me, this is not on you. But let me ask you also, we talked about President Trump and Bill Nelson, who said that he was going to do things in Congress. Marco Rubio was never there in the first place, was he?
Marco Rubio, I called him Rob Your Job Rubio during the campaign because he was always a backer of I squared. I mean, he was a backer of let's increase. We need more and more of these visas because we just don't have enough American workers to fill these jobs, while literally millions of Americans are calling saying, I'm getting fired, I'm replacing my foreigner, I'm training my foreign replacement. And so I would have never voted for him. I've never supported him in any way.
Leo, I remember when we first did this story 2 years ago, it exploded. It went viral from the Drudge Report to Fox News to every television network to every newspaper in America. But I can't help but notice when you all had that news conference yesterday, it was picked up by some of the Orlando TV stations and us, article here and there, but not much more than that.
Well, yeah, it's very disappointing for all the work that Sarah's put into this, pro bono, without any fees being taken by her whatsoever. You know, so much of our own free time and energy put into this. And the iconic American company doing this, we were sure that this would be definitely the event that would change it. And with the Trump rallies that we went to and helped with, just completely surprising about the lack of results about that, and also, yes, about the lack of recent threats as well with yesterday's announcement.
So for all the talk that we have had in this country the last few years about losing American jobs overseas, I mean, that's one thing. But to bring in foreigners to take American jobs here at home, and for, in the end, nothing to be done and the public to, you know, going on to other things, I hate to put it this way, but how does that make you feel about your fellow Americans?
It's disheartening that it seems that greed has taken over, that people don't care as much as they do about their neighbors and fellow Americans as they possibly could, and that other things are more interesting than, you know, these real issues that we have in front of us. Very, very disappointing. And I look at it as a patriotic thing to do to prevent other Americans from going through this. I don't expect any money out of it. I just don't want it to happen to other people.
Well, Leo, the good news is the economy is doing well now. All these corporations, including Disney, just got a fantastic tax cut. So I would imagine that they would, you looking for these IT jobs and your former colleagues would have an easy time finding new work that may even be better paying. Has that been the case?
Well, yesterday we had all three people in the room that were, you know, willing to speak out, but most aren't because they're scared of retribution. They're scared of not finding the next job. And well, 2 out of the 3 were no longer in the same field, I being one of them. And the third one that was there has significant some challenges with his mental health now because of it. And believe it or not, one person that was on my team passed away about a week and a half after the layoff occurred. Now, can I say that 100% is because of the layoff? Was it a coincidence? I'm not sure, but I know that it contributed somewhat to that.
Sarah, what happened on the inside? I know that since we first broke this story, and since the president was elected, you did have conversation with folks in the White House about pushing this along and getting something done. What would they tell you?
Well, Stephen Miller is working in the White House. He really knows what the business model is. He's very smart on that issue. And I know he's still there. He hasn't been one of the many that have lost their jobs in the White House. And I know that he is still pioneering for this issue. I just don't think he's being heard. I think the problem is that, you know, Trump is listening to all of those billionaires and the Prime Minister Modi, and he's not remembering those who voted for him and the American worker stories. Because if you, Forward.us is Bob Iger and Facebook and all, and Ginny Rometty, she's another one of IBM. They get the tax cuts, and that should trickle down to the employees, but it doesn't. They're getting huge bonuses, and the difference between what we're getting paid as an American people and what those billionaires are getting paid keeps getting bigger and bigger. And it's because they are cutting costs when it comes to labor and not letting the people of America see that tax cut and that raise. So Trump just needs to stop and listen to the people who voted for him. And Leo's right. You know, I get so many people who want to tell me their story, but they're so afraid to speak out. There are millions of people that are affected, but they will not speak out because they are blackballed. I've watched it happen. So they don't speak out, but they're speaking with their vote. And they spoke with their vote when they voted for Trump, and they're going to speak with their vote again in the future.
I did want to ask you about one other area, and of course people who are watching this right now will recall that you are the attorney who is also helping the former cheerleaders who believe that they were discriminated in the NFL. You gave the NFL a deadline in terms of responding to your request for a meeting, and you would drop or settle the case for a dollar. What's the latest on that?
Well, I gave a settlement demand that we would drop the claims and anything we had against the NFL for $1 based on both of my clients, if they agreed to certain terms. We gave them 10 days to respond, not agree, respond. And it ended at 5 o'clock on Friday. At 3 o'clock on Friday, I got a letter from the attorney, Stephen Hurd, who represents the NFL. And it was very, very nice. It said, we don't accept your settlement because we don't think we're liable for anything, but we will talk to you. And since then, we've had telephone conferences and email exchanges, and I really believe that the NFL, through this attorney, has a good faith effort to try to make this better. They are the umbrella over all of the teams, and the teams sometimes outsource the cheerleading, but they are in the best position to really make change. And I really, really think that they are coming to the table knowing that I have unique information from all the cheerleaders that have contacted me, and I have an employment background, and I honestly have this idea in my head that the NFL could be that example of what a company should do when they're faced with this kind of Me Too movement issue.
So do you have a time and place for a meeting? Do you believe you will get one? And do you believe in the end the NFL will apply that kind of pressure to the teams?
Well, first of all, they didn't make us settle, so we still have all our claims we can bring against them if they're just jacking us around. You know, that's fine. But I've been in contact with them enough that I really don't believe they're going to put me off. There's no deadline at this point. And the lawsuits I would bring against them have no deadline where I'm up against the wall. But remember, we still have the claims against the teams, and that's a really strong claim for both my clients, and we did not offer to settle that ever.
And we will stay tuned. Sarah, thank you very much.
Thank you.
FYI, you can watch past discussions on demand. They're available on Apple TV, Amazon Fire, and Roku. We want to thank our guest tonight, attorney Sarah Blackwell and former Disney IT worker Leo Pereiro. When we return, USF Sarasota Manatee economics instructor Michael Snipes will join us to explain the difference between the gross domestic product and the gross national product. Riveting. Stay with us.
Outdoor living is one of the greatest perks about living in Florida. So whether this is your style, or this, or maybe this, contact Superior Pools. They've been building pools from Sarasota to Naples since 2001, and they would love to build yours. Since 1972, Sleep King has provided quality mattresses and accessories at the best discounted prices available. Top brands like Simmons, Sealy, Serta, Beauty Rest, Eye Comfort, and more. With available free delivery, free financing, and free setup and removal. For a comfortable night's sleep with same-day delivery, even if we have to carry it on our backs. Trust Sleep King of Sarasota. Buy it today, sleep on it tonight.
When it comes to drinking, what do you think moderation is? The U.S. Dietary Guidelines define moderation as up to 1 drink a day for women and up to 2 drinks a day for men. So what's a drink? The guidelines say a drink equals 12 ounces of beer, 5 ounces of wine, or a cocktail with 1.5 ounces of distilled spirits. Each contains the same amount of alcohol. Like to learn more? Visit drinkinmoderation.org.
Invest in Kids is a $7.5 million project to build a new Boys and Girls Club in South Manatee County. I'm Caleb Grimes, and I was a club kid. It's where I learned important life lessons, leadership, integrity, responsibility, and baseball. Thousands of kids attend the Boys and Girls Clubs, and after years of use, their club is slowly falling apart. Help us invest in kids. Make your donation today.
Enjoy some of the best Suncoast restaurants on me. Just go to mysuncoast.com/dining, sign up for the newsletter if you haven't already, and you can win a $50 gift card to a restaurant in our area. We'll pick a winner each week, so go on our website and sign up now.
Outdoor living is one of the greatest perks about living in Florida. So whether this is your style, or this, or maybe this, contact Superior Pools. They've been building pools from Sarasota to Naples since 2001, and they would love to build yours.
Welcome back. Quick, what's the difference between the gross national product and the gross domestic product, and why should we care? Lucky for us, we have USF Sarasota Manatee economics instructor Michael Snipes here to explain. Michael.
Yeah, and it's actually kind of nice because it does actually kind of apply to what you were talking about during the roundtable discussion. And so when we're talking about kind of these two big measures of the size of the economy, what they really try to do with gross domestic product and gross national product is really try to measure the size of the economy, but they do it in different ways. So when you're thinking about gross domestic product, what we're talking about generally is where was the thing produced? And if we're talking about gross national product, then we're talking about who was the one that actually produced it. So, for example, let's say that Apple builds a phone in the United States, and we want to see how does that change GDP versus GNP. Well, because it was produced in the United States, it's going to increase GDP. And because it was an American company who built it, that would also increase GNP. Because again, it was American in America, that increases both GDP and GNP. But let's say that instead of Apple, let's say that it was Nokia, who was a Finnish company, and they build a phone in the U.S. And we want to know how that affects GDP versus GNP. Well, because it was produced in the United States, that is going to increase GDP. But when we're talking about GNP, it was somebody from Finland or a Finnish-owned company that produced it. That will actually have no effect on GNP. And so why this matters is because it can give us a sense as to kind of where a country produces things. So if we look at a country like China, China generally has a GDP that is bigger than its gross national product, and that's generally an indication that they have a lot of foreigners producing in their country. And if we look at a country like the United States, generally speaking, the GNP is going to be greater than the GDP, and what that's an indication of is that, generally speaking, American companies tend to build more outside of the country. So it's a way to, again, the objective is to try and measure how big an economy is, but we do it in slightly different ways. You know, where is it being produced versus who is the one who's producing it? And it's useful because it gives us a sense as to kind of where exactly all of this production is taking place.
And in terms of where we are at right now, what does the trend in terms of both the GDP and GNP tell us where the American economy is at?
They tend to trend in similar directions, right? Because again, the idea is to measure the size of the economy. So they tend to trend in similar directions. And both GDP and GNP are increasing because again, they're both at least somewhat trying to track exactly how much production is taking place. But like we talked about last week, when we were talking about GDP, you always have to be careful of these because we can get increases in GDP, we can get increases in GNP, not only through production, but we can also get it through increases in prices.
Okay, Michael, thank you very much. Michael Snipes joins us every Thursday to discuss the world of economics. And when we return, we'll have a final look at your First Alert weather. Plus, more questions on money allegedly sent to President Trump's lawyer, Michael Cohen. So stay with us.
I heard about the Dotoli Cancer Center through friends of mine who had been treated here and were very pleased with the treatment.
If there is prostate cancer, we at the Dotoli Cancer Center will find it using 3D color flow Doppler ultrasound.
And that helped precisely identify where my cancer was. I can tell you that you will not find a finer, more professional team of clinicians anywhere in the world.
Did you know you could get life insurance for less than 32 cents a day? With guaranteed acceptance whole life insurance through TrueStage, you can get up to $25,000 in protection with a single phone call. TrueStage can help free your family from immediate financial stress when you're gone.
Utility bills, mortgages, car payments, those are a lot of things that can add up pretty fast.
And even if you're on a fixed income, prices fit your budget, starting at less than 32 cents a day. Plus, your price will never increase and your benefit will never decrease. And with no medical tests or health questions, you cannot be turned down for any reason. Call 1-800-842-7189. Now, for a free, no-obligation quote, TrueStage offers plans to fit your budget. Help protect your family from immediate financial burdens after you're gone with guaranteed acceptance whole life insurance through TrueStage. Call 1-800-842-7189 now.
My credit score was not that great.
I didn't understand what went into my credit score.
It was overwhelming.
Do you want to attain better credit health but don't know where to start? Credit Sesame can help by providing you a free credit score.
I love the app. It's so easy to use. It's like having your own financial coach.
Credit Sesame broke my credit score down into things that I understood, and it made me think, I can do this.
And the awesome thing about Credit Sesame, it's free.
It's 100% free.
You don't need to go it alone. Get started today at creditsesame.com.
Now your ABC 7 First Alert weather forecast with Chief Meteorologist Bob Harrigan.
Yeah, kind of a cloudy day today. Lakewood Ranch webcam from about 1 o'clock this afternoon looking at those high, thin cirrus clouds streaming in from the Gulf associated with the fast-moving stream of air known as the jet stream. And again, that caused a couple of halos to form. These halos are kind of interesting, typically in the northern climates north of our latitude. Mid-latitude cyclones sometimes out ahead of it, they create cirrus clouds and create these nice halo effects, and that usually means rainfall within 24 to 48 hours. We're not going to get it in 24 to 48, but more than likely 72, as this heads northward, associated with a trough of low pressure. A trough of low pressure, a line of low pressure. No tight circulation at this point. We're not anticipating any massive storm, but It will bring a lot of rain our way, I do believe, and that begins on Sunday, continuing on Monday. Right now, it's heavy, and you can see it right there quite clearly near Cuba and throughout the Florida Straits. Nothing going on here as we're high and dry, and we're going to need that rainfall because things have been pretty dangerous as far as the fire danger goes. You're going to notice the humidity come back up, too, on Saturday. We won't get much rain on Saturday, but that humidity value will come up. The good news is this number has come down to 54 now. Still in the moderate range, but that's much better than the 97 we saw just 2 days ago. So things are improving in our air quality. That's more than likely due to the increased cloud cover today, the sun not able to interact as much with the pollution. Well, Futurecast will show you Friday. It looks really nice overnight, not bad, some high clouds around. The clouds will thin out a little bit tomorrow, so we'll see more sunshine tomorrow. High temperatures right around 90 degrees. Well above the average, which is 85 for this time of year. But you'll notice that these showers that are depicted by this forecast model stay well to our south on Friday afternoon, and it will stay that way on Saturday too. As I mentioned, the slight chance for showers comes on Saturday afternoon, but that won't be much. Winds out of the east-northeast continuing now, a little bit stronger out at Anna Maria, trying to get a sea breeze developing there, but not having much luck. Anywhere from 10 to 15 down into South Sarasota County. The storm track is now well to the north now, and you can see the showers and storms moving through the Pacific Northwest and heading off basically due east. So we're not anticipating any cold front moving through, anything like that, but that low pressure center will develop in the upper levels of the atmosphere, it looks like, on into Sunday and Monday. 64 in Montreal, a bit cooler in Portland now, but warm in Indianapolis, 81, and pretty hot in Wichita now at 88 degrees, Salt Lake at 74. And Dallas now at 86 degrees. Well, here's the boating forecast. It looks good tomorrow. Seas running less than 2 feet. A light chop on the bays and inland waters, and winds out of the east to start the day off, switching to the northwest at 10. So Friday looks good. Increasing clouds, though, on Saturday. Not much of a chance for rainfall. Really picks up on Sunday with that rain chance at 70%. Same on Monday. And you'll notice those rain chances staying elevated all the way through much of the work week next week. Alan will be right back after this. Stick around.
Hi, I'm Chef Bob. Watch Aprons in the Kitchen every Wednesday morning on ABC 7, where we'll be serving up the most awesome dishes. Then stop by your neighborhood Publix, pick up the recipe card and all the ingredients.
You now have the power to prioritize your Facebook feed and get local news and information from the team you trust. Go to the ABC7 Sarasota page on Facebook. Give us a like, then click following and choose See First. That's it. Customize even more by choosing notifications. Choose breaking news, posts, live videos, anything you want to see in real time. Take control of your newsfeed and stay connected to what's happening in your community with ABC7 on Facebook. Stay connected to your clients and new customers using ABC7 Digital Media Services. Our team of professionals provide a wide array of digital services to help you get the most out of your website. We specialize in building and helping you maintain the most effective digital solutions for your business. It's vital that your online presence stands out, so our experts will equip you with the best resources available. Trust ABC7 Digital Media Services to give you the right tools to grow your business.
This is your brain. This is drugs. This is your brain on drugs. Any questions?
Yeah, I have questions.
Prescription drugs aren't as bad as street drugs, right?
Weed's legal, isn't it?
Drinking is worse than smoking weed.
Isn't it? Why
is heroin so addictive?
Molly just makes you feel happy.
I have questions.
Mom?
Dad, did you ever try drugs?
They're going to ask. Be ready. Go to drugfree.org. A message from Partnership for Drug-Free Kids.
Our nation's servicemen and women show great courage and leadership, both on and off the battlefield. When they transition to civilian life, they can apply the skills and values they learned in the military to the workplace. That's why the Coalition to Salute America's Heroes is urging employers everywhere to be smart, bet on a vet. Hiring a veteran is also a great way to show your appreciation for them. To learn more, call 1-888-44-SALUTE.
Check out My Suncoast Dining on mysuncoast.com for Chef Judy's favorite recipes, cooking tips and trends, dining blogs, step-by-step videos, and Suncoast Restaurant Guide. You'll find it all at mysuncoast.com/dining.
Checking primetime headlines now to the latest drama with the president's former personal attorney, Michael Cohen. Questions are growing about the millions paid to his shell company from businesses looking for help and insight on working with the Trump administration. ABC's Maggie Rulli has the latest.
More trouble for President Trump's former personal attorney, Michael Cohen.
This looks like influence peddling at the highest level, and it appears that his personal attorney was making things even swampier for himself.
The attorney for Stormy Daniels, Michael Avenatti, posted some alleged financial information about Cohen's company, Essential Consultants, that he claims show Cohen used this shell company to not only facilitate the Daniels payment in a hush agreement, but also for a consulting practice that had transactions totaling at least $4 million.
The American people deserve to know what it was for.
Nothing that's been alleged so far is patently illegal, but it raises all sorts of questions.
Among the web of companies that hired Cohen is AT&T, which acknowledges they paid him at least $200,000 and has a major merger pending before the Justice Department. The company says they paid to get insights into understanding the new administration. Also of interest for Cohen, $500,000 Avenatti says Cohen received from Columbus Nova, a company that allegedly has deep ties to a company owned by Putin ally Viktor Vekselberg, a Russian billionaire who reportedly attended the Trump inauguration and, according to the New York Times, was questioned by the Mueller team. A lawyer for Columbus Nova denies Vekselberg was involved in hiring or funding Cohen. The Treasury Department Inspector General is now launching an investigation into the possibility that the financial records tied to Cohen may have been leaked illegally.
Any response to Avenatti?
This document is inaccurate.
Cohen's lawyers are also disputing some of those transactions being linked to their client, saying that Avenatti has made multiple mistakes in his claims. Maggie Rulli, ABC News, New York.
It's official. President Trump and Kim Jong-un will meet in June. It will take place in Singapore on June 12th. The meeting will be a historic event, the first ever between the sitting U.S. president and North Korean leader. Trump's goal is to rein in North Korea's nuclear arsenal and bring a lasting peace to the Korean peninsula. Rudy Giuliani loses his loose lips, cost him his job at a New York law firm. He is being forced to resign from his law firm to focus on his work for President Trump. The former New York mayor joined the president's legal team last month to help with the special counsel investigation into Russian meddling in the 2016 election. But the firm is said to be uncomfortable about some of Giuliani's public comments about the case. And that's all the time we have for this evening. I'm Alan Cohn. Thanks for joining us. Have a good night.
Outdoor living is one of the greatest perks about living in Florida. So whether this is your style, or this, or maybe this, contact Superior Pools. They've been building pools from Sarasota to Naples since 2001, and they would love to build yours.
A promise was made, a promise that hit the beaches of Normandy, a vow that captured Iwo Jima, a contract that weathered Tet, a pledge that stormed the desert in Iraq, an IOU that braved IEDs in Kandahar. A promise was made to America's veterans. DAV fights to keep that promise, so all veterans and their families get the benefits and support they earned. For help, visit DAV.org.
My name is Luke Perry, and I am 1 million strong. I'm in the fight against colorectal cancer because I believe we can win it. Colon and rectal cancers are the second leading cause of cancer deaths among men and women in the U.S. Colon cancer is preventable. Know the risk factors and make sure to get screened. There are simple, take-home options available. Take control of your health. Screening for colon cancer isn't embarrassing. It can be life-saving. To find out more about your options, visit fightcrc.org.
When my youngest, Addie, was 2.5, she was diagnosed with leukemia. When we first heard that diagnosis, you feel extremely alone. Walking in that Light the Night light with 6,000 people carrying lights, white for survivors, red for supporters, gold in memory of those who have passed. It's the Leukemia and Lymphoma Society's hope that every year there are fewer gold lanterns. Your lantern will make a difference.
Start a team, join a team.
Help us light the night.
Outdoor living is one of the greatest perks about living in Florida. So whether this is your style, or this, or maybe this, contact Superior Pools. They've been building pools from Sarasota to Naples since 2001, and they would love to build yours.
Watch Good Morning Suncoast on ABC 7, weekdays starting at 5.